Good evening, everybody. Hello, hello. Good to see you all. Nice to see all the cameras on. Evelyn, Beverly, Sandy, Minky, Marcella, Kent, and now I know the partner in crime now is now called Brenda. I know that. We met. So nice to see you guys. MC, so good to see you as well. Jackie, good to see you up and about. And where is my partner in crime tonight, Mr.
Here
Sean?
I am.
Oh, there you are. Wait, you put the volume up there. There we go. Right, let's make the spotlights. I'll spotlight me. Spotlights. Okay, spotlight. There we go. And I just want to change the view here. Give me 1 second. There we go. It's like flying a plane. Got to make sure everything's in place first. There we go.
If it
Ah,
crashes, we don't
perfect.
die, though. That's the only difference.
I sit um I sit in the back row, always the last two, three back rows of an airplane. People go, why do you always like to sit at the back? It's like I've never seen an airplane reverse into a mountain. You know what I'm saying? They say statistically the last, I think, three or four back rows are the safest on an airplane. So, and it's also a naughty corner as well.
I heard it was over the wing. I
Oh,
think
the
pretty
wing.
much doesn't matter where you're sitting in an aircraft. If it crashes, you're done for. That's why they tell you to put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye.
Good point. Yes.
Assume the crash position.
Yeah. Oh, the wings are where the petrol is. I would want to be sitting there.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I also like the bumpiness. I love turbulence.
I sit
It's
close to
like,
the exit so I can get out first. It's a
that's a
problem.
good one.
Oh, no, I don't.
Now, I'll give everybody a minute or two. I see a lot of people coming on, and then we'll officially start the training. Um, Good to see everybody. Bridget, good to see you as well. We must have a catch-up chat. Guys, nodding your head. And Evelyn, we're going to be seeing you very soon. Looking forward to it. There we go. Oh, no, I just want to make this. Give me 1 second. Co-host. All right, there we are. So rename. Give me 1 second. And rename. There we go. And then I see my gorgeous wife has just joined in here. She's on the other computer there, also just managing and watching everything. Where was she? She's disappeared now. Oh, she's down there. There we go. Okay, there we go. We got 45. I was going to, let's say, wait till 49 for X49. I thought, nah, you know what? Let's get started. Guys, so good to see you all. Just for recording purposes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Chris, and my co-host this evening is Sean Mask. We're both from Johannesburg, and welcome to tonight's EduTrainment Thursday on the what's the date? The 9th of April, 2026. Guys, can you believe it's the 9th of April? I don't know about you guys, but I've just like batted my eyelids and all of a
Yes.
sudden we're sitting in April. It's absolutely crazy. This is, I don't know, one of the fastest years I've experienced. And Sean and I were talking about it, I think the day before yesterday. We were talking about time. And it's so funny when you are busy and you've got a purpose and you're doing things, time seems to go a little bit quicker when you're busy. It's when you're bored and you got nothing to do. When people say, "Oh, the days are dragging on, the weeks are feeling like forever," and I'm going, "That's a complete different world that I live in." I just bat my eyes. I mean, this week we're trying to fit 5 days into four, because of the public holidays. So that's a little bit crazy for everybody. But yeah, tonight is one of the most exciting topics that we're going to be talking about. We haven't spoken about this in quite a while. Sean and I were chatting about it over a month ago, and we said, you know what, we need to do this topic on EduTrainment Thursday. And the topic is exposure to your first active working upline. Exposure to your upline. So if you new to LifeWave, you might be new to the industry, and you're hearing us talking about exposure to the upline, you might be going, I don't understand. What exactly does that mean? Somebody signed you up into LifeWave. You didn't just arrive and suddenly just join out of thin air. Somebody gave you a link and you joined and you became a brand partner with LifeWave. And the person who signed you up might be new as well. They might be new as well. And they might not have the experience yet on how to help you and how to guide you. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that person that signed you up, guess what they also have? They have an upline. Somebody signed them up as well. And, you know, this team has been going for 3.5 years. And let me tell you, there are hundreds of amazing leaders that are part of this amazing community. And this is like across the globe. So from a leadership point of view, there are many people that are here to help. And sometimes when we see some people on the groups and they really want to get it going, they just don't know where they fit within the structure. And, you know, sometimes some of these people, we call them orphans. And, you know, I say it with all due respect, the word orphan. An orphan is a poor person that's been signed up and dumped. And unfortunately, it happens. I can see Sandy nodding her head. I can see Minky nodding her head. Yep, Bridget as well. And what happens is the person signs up and they kind of like left to fend for themselves. Never been in the industry before, and this is a learning curve. You're in a university here. There's so much to learn about this industry, and the person just really doesn't know what to do, and could end up doing the wrong things. And when you do the wrong things, unfortunately, you've only got a first chance or one chance to make a first impression. And if you mess it up in the beginning, you might not have a second chance to go back and rekindle it. So it's very important that you know upfront what it is that you need to do. So, you know, in network marketing, there's the saying, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And you've always got to remember that, in business for yourself, but not by yourself. There's always going to be somebody that can help you. So what we do is when we find somebody that really wants to get going in the business, we just look up in the structure. We look up, and we find the first working active upline. And there's many leaders that are on the call right now tonight that myself and Lucinda have done over the last couple of years. And we just find the person, say, right, here's somebody that really wants to get going in the business. I'll give you an example. When we were down in Cape Town, how long was that ago? 6 weeks ago. And there was a lady that was in communication with me over a year ago. And she was about, maybe 7, 8 levels down from Sandy Feast. Her name's Izen, amazing woman. She asked me something a year ago. And then, you know, I didn't reconnect with her. But then she saw we were coming down to Cape Town. And she just wanted to get the business going. She was incubating for a year. So she was in like a cocoon. And what happened is she said, I want to get this going. I don't have any help. I said, who signed you up? She said, that person who signed me up isn't even in LifeWave anymore. So I'm like lost in space. That's like a proper orphan. The parents abandoned them. And so what I did was I looked up in the structure and I saw, there we go. So it's 7 levels down from Sandy. And this is what we call working in the deep. So we work with people all over within the structure. A lot of you guys that are on the call, you know that we work deep within your teams and we all work together. But what happened, it was so funny. So Sandy is at the meeting, then Izen was there. And then I told her I'm going to introduce her to Sandy, and Izen didn't know who Sandy was. So she came to me and said, who's Sandy? Who's Sandy? So like I pointed, Sandy was just busy with somebody on the other side of the room. And then she was like running towards Sandy. I'm like, wait, slow down. So I went to Sandy. I said, Sandy, I found your orphan. They actually just hugged each other straight away. And the rest is history. And Sandy's obviously working with her. But Yeah, so the exposure to the upline is vitally important. And there's a couple of people that have really been doing a lot of. And Sean, the culprit, my partner in crime this evening, has been doing it quite a lot. And Sean's business is flying because he understands the concept of how important it is. So I've got a few more things to say, but what I want to first do is I want to hand over directly to Sean. And Sean has been in the network marketing industry for many, many, many years and comes with a lot of experience and really understands the finer details of the industry. And we were chatting about the importance of exposure to upline, which Sean has been doing. And guess what? His business is growing. So, Sean, over to you.
Thanks, Chris. I think first of all, it's important for people to understand that like everything, this business has a skill set. There is a skill set that will allow you to build a successful business. And unfortunately, most people join this business thinking that it's going to be easy. I'm going to come in, I'll speak to my friends and family, they'll speak to their friends and family, and woohoo, we'll be rich and free and we'll go sit on the beach. And then they come in, they speak to 3 or 4 people, they don't get the results that they want, and then they wander off and go and do something else. So guys, I think it's more, first of all, it's important just to understand, if somebody signs you up and they disappear, it's not personal. It's just something they've chosen, that this is not the professional, this is not what they want to do anymore. It's okay. Above them, there's someone, and if that person leaves, above them, there's someone, and if that person leaves, above them, and if you keep on moving up, you'll find an active person who can help you. And I think that's important to understand, is don't take it personally. If your upline leaves, I know I still take it personally, even when I get some people who sign people up and then make them promises and then disappear. But that's just life, I think if you let that, it's you, every one of us gets to make a choice. For instance, I've chosen that this is going to be this is my profession. This is not a hobby for me. This is not playing. This is my profession. I spend hours every day upskilling, learning, teaching, growing, doing. That's what I've chosen to do. But the majority of people, as you're going to have to accept this, are not going to make that choice. And it's okay. There is enough people in this world. The sun shines on everyone. There is enough people for you to find 6 or 7 or 8 real winners who are going to go out and choose this and go and build it. Look, we're sitting with a gentleman right now who's found a number of people who are going to do that. So I think that Chris, that for me has been probably the most important thing for people to understand. Guys, this is a profession. It's a business. It requires a skill set. It requires learning and understanding. It requires you to put time in to get better at how to speak to people, how to introduce people to your upline, which is what we'll come on to just now, I think, because introducing people to your upline is great, but you can make it a lot more effective by using a principle called edification. And I think we'll touch on that just now. But guys, for me, I just find I can talk to people till I'm blue in the face. And it's weird. The dynamic is, I phone up, I tell my people, hey, I got somebody in the team who's built an incredibly huge, big business. I'd like you to put him in touch with you. And I put them on to Chris. I do the intro, and here's a key, ladies and gents. Do the introductions and then shut your mouth. That's what I would suggest. Let the person who you introducing them to, let them lead the conversations, let them do the work. I've seen a mistake that people make is hi, Chris, come and talk to my people, and then they talk over all the time and interrupt and do all that. Don't do that. Hand them over to someone like Chris, or to your upline, to Sandy, to Kent, whoever it might be, and then just zip it. Let them ask the questions. If they want your input, they'll ask for your input. But if you understand how something like edification works, it's an incredible tool. Guys, most people, the business world out there, the conventional business world, don't really use it. It's something that I think is quite unique to what we do. And it's a principle that says anybody can promote anybody. You just can't promote yourself. So that's what I would say, Chris. Use your upline. As Chris said, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You don't have to do this alone. And you can be much more effective by, I guess, promoting. And I think, Chris, that's something we forget, is when you first join this business, you get people in. But guys, your job only then starts. Then you've got to become a promoter. You've got to promote everything. You've got to promote the product. You've got to promote your upline. You've got to promote seminars like this. And you've got to promote. You've got to get good at promoting, because it's only by bringing people onto things like this. It's only by bringing people in front of your upline. It's only by promoting things and getting people in front of people and things that are bigger than them, that they can maybe start to see a vision, which is what will bring, which will is what will hopefully help them to break through whatever ceiling they might have, or help them to get to the next level. The chances are, you, especially if you are the upline, you're not going to do it. You're too close. What you say doesn't have any impetus. The closer you are, the less people listen to you. Look at a husband and wife. Husband doesn't listen to wife, wife doesn't listen to husband. Well, if a husband's smart, he listens to his wife. But we men, we're not that smart. So most of the time, that's not what happens. We don't listen to each other because we're too close. So that's all I have to say for now.
For now. I love that. But you know what? Going back, you touched on a very important point. There is the edification of making a person excited to meet the upline, to make them excited. And also, it's kind of like a person's thinking, well, what's so important about this person? Why should I look forward to meeting the person? And you say, the person's been in the business for a lot longer than what I have. So that automatically gives credibility to the upline, because it's the credibility that is linked to the edification. And then, I mean, Sean, you do this like a pro. When you get a person onto a call with me, you edify me immediately at the beginning of the call, which is so amazing, because what it does is it just sets the tone for the meeting. And the person goes, okay, you know what? This person warrants my time, and there's a certain level of respect that goes through it as well, goes with it. And then they can all want to listen to you, which is really, really important. And also, we spoke about this a few times as well. Sean, I can say things to people, to your personal people that you signed up. I can say things that you can't.
Yeah.
In fact, I can actually poke. And I think you've seen me do it, where I've seen your eyes. I'm on the call and I poke, and your eyes just go big, and you're like, oh my word, did Chris actually just say that? So even I've seen you do this. I'm like, you're sort of going, what? Hang on a second, oh my word. And person didn't take offense. They didn't take offense, because I could be very direct with them. And where you can't, you know why? Because, as you say, you're too close to them. And then also what happens is, if I look at the people that I've personally signed up, now I've signed up a lot of people that I've been in business with before, a lot of friends. And, you know, when it comes to closer friends, this is where I needed the help. I needed the help on the exposure. And that's where I used George. George, good to see you on the call. We'll get you to say hello at the end. And then we've got Harvey in the USA. We all know Harvey and Olga. So, you know, there's also different personalities. There's some personalities where I want to introduce a person, and George might not be the right person to sort of introduce the person to. Maybe they want somebody a lot more out there and a bit high energy. So then I'll use Harvey. And then you might get somebody that doesn't really relate to their high energy. They want somebody a lot more soft-spoken and a lot more caring and a bit slower. And then that's where I'd introduce George. So it's using your structure going all the way upline. So so I did that in the beginning because people knew my failures and my mistakes. We've listened, every single one of us on this call, we've all made mistakes in our life. We've all succeeded at things, and we've also failed at things. And people sort of judge you. They judge you, where sometimes a lot of us have been in the industry before, and we've got caught out with these silly, shiny object things and these stupid bloody Ponzi schemes that during COVID, and it left a lot of mud on our faces. And a lot of these silly things collapsed because there were these fly by night. We didn't see the warnings. And people look at you and they judge you. And in the beginning, I found it very, very hard where I'm trying to talk about a business and I didn't have any credibility. My credibility was out the window. So I had to use other people's credibility because I didn't have any yet. And then obviously, as you build in the business, as Sean said, it's all about growth. This is a program where you've got to put the hours in. And I want to commend all the 59 people that are on the call this evening. You're all here because you want to learn, you want to grow, and you want to do something with your life. You want to do something with the business. And it's all time-based. There's no shortcut. There's no shortcut in this industry. You have to put the time in. Now, a pilot has to fly 10,000 hours before he's going to get licensed. A doctor needs to study for 7 years. A teacher needs to study for 3 years. You can't circumvent that. You can't decide, well, let me pay extra money or let me work twice as hard. You can't. You can't shorten the process. That's the same in this industry as well. You've got to let it take its course, but you got to put the time in, and we all learn from each other. And guys, there are so many tools. You know, when Lucinda and I, when we joined 3.5 years ago, you can ask some of the guys that were right there in the beginning. You can ask Sandy, you can ask Bridget, you can ask Marcella, Evelyn, MC. How many tools did we have? Not much. We didn't have any tools in place. We just started getting like Zoom meetings and trying to get some trainings together. And now, if you have a look at, from the testimonies channel, the link trees to the toolbox to the Zooms to the trainings, guys, there's so much in place. And MC sent me a message last week, and MC said, Chris, I've been in the industry before, and I have never seen this many tools that are in place. And MC's like a sponge right now. She's just grabbing it all in because everything is now there in place. All you got to do is take that first step. Nobody can do this for you. We all know that old saying, you can take the horse to the water, but you cannot make the horse drink it. Well, you know what? That one's an old one. I prefer Sandy's one. You cannot push wet spaghetti through a keyhole. It ain't going to work. It's an inside job. It's got to come from you. And
You can
it's when
salt a
you
horse's
want it.
oats, though, which helps a little bit.
It was.
You may not be able to make it drink, but you can salt its oats.
So,
That helps a little bit to make it want to drink a bit more.
make it want
But
to.
other than that, you
Yes.
can't do any more. You can't do anything
No.
with wet spaghetti other than throw it against the wall and watch it slowly fall down.
Yep. Yeah, no, the one time I was in Hong Kong when I had my toy business, and it was spaghetti in the plate, and there were slugs. Does everybody know what a slug is? You know those funny little things on the grass, like a snail without a shell? And that was dinner. That was
Very
dinner,
nice.
slugs. And I thought,
I mean, hungry.
oh my word. And guys, let me
Hungry.
warn you, I wouldn't go out of my way to eat it. It tastes terrible. That aftertaste, it leaves like a smell in your mouth. So my agent, his name was Joey, we were sitting upstairs in his apartment, and he had a balcony with those what do you call it? Those glass sort of thing, glass balcony. So he went inside. When he went inside, I was taking it and I was throwing it over the balcony, the slugs and the spaghetti and everything. And he came walking back and he said, "So, Chris, are you enjoying the spaghetti, the meal?" I said, "Oh, Jay, this is delicious. I'm absolutely enjoying it." So he looks to the side and he goes, "Well, why is there spaghetti all over the glass?" I thought, oh my word, I didn't see the glass behind me. I thought I was throwing it over the balcony. Meantime, it was sitting on the glass, just hanging spaghetti there. So yeah, so talk about pushing spaghetti through keyholes. Don't throw your spaghetti around either. So
So Chris,
yeah, sorry.
Chris, just to get back to the edification, you were just when you were saying there about getting people on a call and using edification, and that often people don't have credibility. The challenge with everybody when they get started is they are starting with people they know very well. So you're always going to have that barrier because the people you know very well don't listen to you. That's why the further removed you get from the people, the further in depth you start to build, the more credibility you start to develop because you're further from the source. There's a very good book, if you can find it. It's an old book. It used to be Edification. The book's called The Outside Expert with a Briefcase. And it was based on the old insurance salesman and how insurance used to be sold. And you used to have people called setters. And what they would do is they would set the appointment and they would go and meet the person for coffee or whatever. And they would sit with a person for the first 5 or 10 minutes. And all they would do is they would edify the insurance salesman and tell them how phenomenal this insurance salesman is, what they've done, how many people they've helped, blah, blah, blah. The outside expert walks in with his briefcase. He opens up the briefcase. He pulls the paper out, signs the stuff, deal done, and leaves. And that's edification. It's any, and it doesn't matter who it is. You can put people in touch with George. You can put people in touch with Javi. You can put people in touch with Sam. You can actually put people in touch with anyone as long as it's not you. And if you edify them correctly, it works. The process works. It's that, and I love that you can't promote yourself because then you just look like a douche. Nobody wants to, and I've had this with somebody I know who was upline from me, who introduced me into this business, and that's all he did was talk about himself. And all I was doing, sitting there going, well, if you have to tell everybody how great you are, you can't be that great. But it doesn't matter. The person who cleans the toilets can walk into the restaurant and go, you know what? You are so lucky that you're sitting with Chris. Chris is X, Y, Z. And guess what? Doesn't matter who that person is. You believe him because it's not you that's told it. It's somebody else. It's an incredibly powerful, and that's why don't put people in touch with your upline unless you're going to use the tool properly, unless you're going to edify them. And it's not an ego thing. It's not, you must edify me because no, it's a tool. I edify you, Chris, and I see how we do it so well is I edify you. So the person comes on and they listen to you, and then you edify me. And because I'm not the one telling them I'm so fantastic, but you're telling them, guess what? They believe it. So it's a tool, guys. It's not something that everyone wants to be at the top of the pile and you have to, that's not what it's about at all. It's about using it as a tool. And if you use it effectively, it's one of the most incredible tools that you can use. Use it. Tell people how fantastic your upline is so that when your upline speaks and tells them what to do, they listen to it. It's an incredible tool to use.
As Harvey says, he calls it the magic sauce. The magic sauce. So what I want to do is I want to ask the first person is Marcella. So what I'm going to do, I've made you co-host so you can unmute yourself. I first want to just add the spotlight, Marcella. So Marcella and Jonathan are down in Plettenberg Bay, and they've been part of the business for just over 2 years. Superstars in the business. They haven't missed an incentive trip. Let me tell you, they know what they're doing. And to do an incentive trip, let me tell you, that's not the easiest thing in the world. And absolutely passionate about about LifeWave, passionate about the industry, the business, the most humble, down-to-earth people you'll ever meet, and leaders, absolute amazing leaders. And so they've been signing up a whole lot of people, quite a lot of people, frontline people. And when we were down in Plet, so this was about a month ago when we were down there, myself and Lucinda, we did the presentation and the training, and then we went out for dinner and we were just chatting. And, this is all about building the relationships and having your ear to the ground. And that's what I love about meeting people face to face, because you get to hear what's happening in the trenches and you get feedback. And that's what I've said before. When I make certain decisions, it's always based on feedback from the community. So long story short, we're chatting, and they said, we're earning a weekly income, we're happy, but it feels like we've sort of hit a bit of a ceiling. We're just not getting further than a certain point. So we're chatting, and sort of started to identify what it was. And it was exposure to the uplines. So we didn't say anything. We met with Jonathan and Marcella on the Monday. We met them at a restaurant and had coffee. And I said, I know exactly what it is. what's happening in your business? I know why you're feeling frustrated. So they're saying, why? I said, I'm not telling you yet. I'm keeping it a secret. And they're like, please tell me, tell me, tell me. And I said, it's just one little thing that you are missing. You're signing people up. You got a bit of duplication going, but you don't have that proper depth going. They said, yes, the depth. We're not getting the depth going. And I said straight, I said, your business won't grow any further. Your business will stay exactly where it's at. And they're like, what? I said, yep, you've hit that cap because there's one little ingredient that you missed out. And they're like, what is it? I said, exposure to upline. I said, how many people that you signed up, how many people have you got in the last month in front of Sandy? And they said, none. I said, in the last 6 months? They said, none. I said, well, there we go. That's the magic ingredient that you missed out on. So obviously we spoke to Sandy, got Marcella to speak to Sandy, and they've been connecting, and Sandy will touch on it just now, but the ball has started rolling. So Marcella, I'd love you to share from your side how this has made a difference in your business in the last little while and your mindset. Tell us what you've seen through this.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for all the valuable information that you're always sharing with us. And thank you, Sean, as well. So I think that for me, it's been a game changer in terms of, everybody looks up to an amazing leader like Sandy. And when you make the time for people and say, this is going to be your time now, special time with someone like Sandy, who is so busy, they really are very excited to be on that call with Sandy. And as you say, you edifying your upline. She's an incredible leader. And what I love is I actually love to watch her in action. So it's not just your person that you are exposing to Sandy, but I'm learning on the calls. Every single call that I'm on with Sandy, I'm like a sponge because I'm watching her. I'm listening to what she's saying. She's very good at, getting people to talk, and she's very good at asking all the right questions. So from that point of view, it's very much of a almost like a training session for both myself and the person that you are exposing them to. So and your downline. So I feel it's very much of a growth, a time of a very special time for us all to grow from the experience. And I think also if we give each person, you make them realize that you are giving them a voice. They can speak up for their challenges that they are facing. And we've all got challenges that we face. And what I also find that I love is that every single call is completely unique, because every single person is unique. And there again, you're watching someone in action and how they are dealing with the different situations. So it's very much very valuable from every aspect. The other thing is that with someone like Sandy, who's done so well in the business, it also, I aspire to what she's done and how she's got there. And same with your downline, they have got something to aspire to as well. So there's a lot that comes from these calls and very, very worthwhile. And I'm very grateful that you suggested that. The other thing is that it keeps us all motivated. It keeps us plugged in. And again, it gives us an opportunity to share our experiences and learn from someone that's overcome a lot of those obstacles. So that is my feedback on the calls. So thanks very much. I'm going to definitely continue doing those. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Marcella. I appreciate that feedback. Thank you. Thank you very much. There you go. So I'm glad that Marcella touched on something that I was actually going to mention is every call is different. Every call is different because you're dealing with a different person. And, many of you guys have had three-way calls and Zooms with me. And the first question I always like to ask is, what do you currently do for a living? What do you currently do for a living? Because it's not about me. It's about the other person. What do you do for a living? And they're going to tell you what they do for a living. And that way you get a bit of an idea of the personality style of the person that you're working with. Then straight after that, then I ask, why did you join LifeWave? And you might think, this is a simple question. Guys, just by asking that one question, why did you join LifeWave? Do you know how much information the person is going to give you? Because then you know where you're at. So then what I then do is I take the first question, what do you do for a living? And then why did you join LifeWave? And what is it, the third question, that you would like to achieve? What is it that you would like to achieve? And the person will come back and give you feedback. And then we tailor make their plan of action for that person because everybody is different. Everybody's got a different amount of time that they can put in. So somebody that's got a 8 to 5 job, they're sitting in the traffic for 3 hours a day, and they've got 7 kids at home. It's going to be very difficult to say to this person, contact 10 people a day. They're going to say, not a chance, they're going to run for the hills. It's as simple as that. But because of the feedback you've now got back, you could tailor make and say, right, let's just get the business rolling, but let's do it in manageable bite-sized chunks. And that's how you get the momentum going. Sean, would you agree on that point?
Yeah, I think, Chris, like everything, questions are the answers. I'm finding if you ask enough questions, you'll get to the right answers. And just a little bit off the topic, here's something. I was talking to a young lady today who's actually on the call. A young lady, she's as old as my daughter. She wants to build this business. She's got a couple of challenges because she's so young, she doesn't have a list. And we were talking about questions today, and it was something that I learned from Tony Robbins back in 2022. I was on a UPW, Unleash the Power Within. And one of the things that I've lived by, it's changed my life, and write this down, is the quality of your life is dictated by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. And that goes for people, other people. If you ask people the right questions, you'll get the right answers. And ask, Chris, this is what I've seen you very good at. You will ask a question and then you listen. And then ask the question and not listen to respond, but listen to actually listen. And I think that is so important. So you let the person talk and let the person talk. People love to talk. People love to talk about themselves. They love to get that information out. Even just that, asking people the right questions and then listening makes people feel special. And even that alone is so powerful. People want to be part of something bigger than themselves. People want to be part of something special. People want to be made to feel special. And I think that's exactly it, Chris. Ask the right questions. And like you said, those 3 questions will pretty much give you everything you need to know. And you can build on that. But until you've asked those kind of questions, how do you get to know? Well, first of all, how do you get to know anything about somebody if you just talk about yourself all the time? Ask the questions. The quality of your life is dictated by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. And the quality of the answers you'll get from people is based on the quality of the questions you ask them.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. But the best is also because the question always goes into a series of questions. Like when we had Monica on the call, remember we were talking about that she works at Spa. And, I asked her, I said, so what do you do for a living? She said, she works for Spa. And I said, how long had you worked there? She said, I can't remember what the time was, but it was quite a while. So I said, wow,
But
you like,
her boss is her husband who owns the spa, though.
Yeah, well, it makes a difference. But she works there, and yeah, she still gets paid a salary for doing what she does. And I said to her, how long do you feel like you still want to do this for? And you remember that question was like, not too long. I'm kind of like,
Not
I want
long.
to start
Yeah.
doing my own thing. So it's not just the one question. It's kind of like, what do you do for a living? Based upon what they do for a living, how long have you been doing it for? Are you enjoying it? And then the one that really we poker person. So, would you honestly say for the work that you do you earn what you're worth? Do you earn what you're worth? I have not, Sean, I don't know about you, but asking that question, I haven't had anybody yet say, yeah, oh man, I get paid way too much for what I do. I haven't heard that yet. Have you?
Never. Yeah,
No.
but I think it's a very rare saying. I think it's very rare that someone gets paid more than they're worth.
And that's the whole thing. And that's where you sort of pressing on a bit of a pain point. Nobody's getting paid what you're worth because you've hit that cap. And then, we just talk a little bit about the industry and, we just let it flow. So,
And Chris,
okay.
sorry,
So
just on that,
yes,
sorry to interrupt you. Would you say that you
yeah,
also, as you said, you go a bit deeper? So you ask a question and you don't just necessarily leave it on the surface, Like I'm just trying to think of something you might say, like, what do you want to, what's your goal? What's your dream to what you'd like to do with the business? Oh, I want to earn $100,000. Okay, well, that's great. But, the thinking is, well, what are you going to do with that? You're going to put it in a big sack and sleep on it? That's not what you want. You don't want money. Money is a tool. So the next question would be, and I've seen you do this, going to, well, brilliant. What would that mean to you? What would you do with it? So you can start getting down beneath the layers, because the top
yeah,
surface layer, the more depth, the more you can get below those layers, the more emotional it becomes, until you can sometimes get to the real emotional core of why people are doing, something. Why do they want money? Why do they want freedom? It all comes back to things they've experienced, or traumas, or stuff that they really want, their goals, their dreams, or their fears. And if you can start tapping into some of that, then you can really get to the root of, we may be getting a bit too far in depth, but then you can really get to the root of what people really want.
yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. So there's one question, but it follows into a sequence of questions. And it's not like you ask it all at the same time, like bam, 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 bam. You go with the natural flow, which is the most important thing, because we're dealing with a real life
Yeah.
human being, not a robot.
You're not
You've always got to
interrogating people.
not interrogating, exactly, just flowing. You're having a conversation with people, like the way
Conversation.
we're chatting.
Yeah.
We just have a normal, real conversation. That's all it's
Yeah.
about. Right, so I'm gonna get Minky on. Here we go. Let's yes, you co-host. Let me make a spotlight. And Minky, also a pro, a leader in this industry, in the business, got a lot of experience in the industry, and has come across and also made comments saying, "Oh my word, this is like a breath of fresh air. Everything is so different. It's in place, the structures, the systems, all in place. And I was just basically just plugging in and just running with the system." And I know that Minky is using the education as well and exposure to Upline. Minky, please share with us what you've been doing.
Good evening, everybody. It's so amazing to be here and to be part of this amazing dynamic team. I actually love three-way calls, and I think the number one reason would be when I was still deciding, should I join LiveWave or should I stay where I am? It was a three-way call that persuaded me to. The next morning, I was like, I'm doing this. So that's why I strongly believe in three-way calls. And if there's one skill that I would love to get better at, is to even use it at a higher level, learn how to also do it for my team. I am doing it for my team at the moment, but mostly for prospects. So that is something that you can also remember, that it doesn't always have to be for a brand new member. It can also be for a prospect that you want to guide them to take the next step. What I feel is that I have a lot of friends and I love people, so I make connections easily, but people trust my friendship, but they don't really know how to trust me as a business partner. So that is why it is so important to get them connected to my upline support that can and guide them. And then obviously, like you say, they know before the time that they're going to speak to somebody that's been in the industry for a longer time. They've already have achieved success. So they immediately, it helps them to feel more that they can trust the process. And it helps you to make them feel safe as well. Normally with a prospect, I wouldn't drag the call out. We normally stick to about 20 minutes so that they know this is we getting to the point, and we don't want to waste their time. We just really want to have that easy flowing conversation that Chris was talking about. One thing that also is very important, like especially in the beginning when you're still a brand new member, to ask those deep questions. You won't have the confidence to do that. And I remember on my 3-way call, I was poked, and that is actually it sometimes it made me mad. But then the next morning I realized I'm actually mad with me. So that's when I was so grateful for the poking. But that's why I say a brand new member might not feel the confidence, because who am I to poke someone if I'm not successful yet? And I think also 3-way calls help people to see the bigger picture of things. They start to see that there's not just you, there's also an upline. So there's a team, and they are surrounded by people that wants to work with them. So it really helps them to see that there's a system in place. And then I love the fact that whenever Sandy and I do a call, she also boosts my credibility. So before we end the call, she always brings it back to me. And then she would say, you know what, you are in such good hands with Minky, and you really can feel confident taking the next step with her. And then doing calls with my downline as well. What we always do in these calls is to help that person to take the next step. And it can be something really small. Maybe that person still just needs to look at extra information. I love to use The 4-Year Career, which is a book, and I always recommend them to read it. I would then also ask them, what is the next step for you? What do you need from us for you to take the next step? So maybe it's recommending that they watch a presentation or go to a meeting or an event, or maybe it's, okay, let's just start you. Cool. Yeah. Chris is showing the book then. Soon, hopefully, everybody will be reading them. Such a good book. And maybe it's just also to help them to decide that they do not have to start with the business immediately. Maybe they're just ready to start as a preferred customer. So it's really just making them feel comfortable and making them feel that they can take the next step with confidence. I think that's about it. There's lots of it I can say more, but to me, 3-way calls are something that really everybody should learn the skill and use it in their business for sure. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Sean.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Minky. That was absolutely amazing. And I love what you touched there. The 3-way call with a prospect needs to be 20 minutes. That is so vital, because this is their first exposure. If you're sitting shooting the breeze for an hour and a half, they're going to turn around. Guess what's going to stop them from doing the business? You know what they're going to say? I don't have the time for this business. Yeah. Because all they remember is that very first call. Anybody that's done a 3-way call with me, you know, when it gets to 5 minutes, so we're 15 minutes in. Hey, I watch like a hawk. When we're 15 minutes in, I say, we've got 5 minutes left. When we get to 2 minutes, I say, we've got 2 minutes left. I'm very strict when it comes to that. And when it gets to that 20-minute mark, then you hand back. So very, very important on that. Thank you for that reminder, Minky. Thank you.
Another thing, Chris, just when Minky was talking there, I was thinking not so much with a prospect. What you can with a prospect as well is, if you're going to put your prospect onto a call with your upline, or if you're going to put a person in your team on a call with your upline, let your upline know what you want to get out of that call. You know, I know that's another thing. Before I put Chris on a call with any of my people, my message to Chris is, Chris, This is who's coming on. This is the end result I'd like. So Chris also knows kind of from my experience, because I know the person better, I've been working with a person, what this person might need. Same with a prospect. If I've been talking to the prospect, I might know what their fears are, what is holding them back. So I can say, Chris, this is what I want to try and do. Can you, this is who they are. This is what they've been doing. This is what I'd like you to, the message kind of you can get across, so that Chris or your upline knows which way to go. And it's strategic is I think what I'm trying to get at. This is not just putting people on a call for the sake because we're bored and got nothing to do. It's because you want to move someone. And the more strategic you can be and the more information Chris or whoever your upline is can have, the better they can direct that person so that we can get the best outcome.
Absolutely.
Everything is a plan.
And I love it.
Plan. Make sure you've got a plan and a strategy. It's the same as conventional business.
Oh yeah, no, the way you do it, Sean, when you're gonna do a three-way call or a Zoom, you always send me at least a minute voice note, and you say, Chris, this is what the person wants to talk about. This is what the purpose of the call is going to be, and this is what the outcome is. So you make the call much easier for me because then I'm not shooting in the dark, because you kind of got an idea of which direction the call must go.
And Chris, because my thinking is I don't really care what the prospect or the person I'm putting on wants to talk about. I kind of know what I want the prospect to get out of it. So
Correct.
I want to make sure that can be directed, otherwise what's the point? And I think again, that's what leadership is in my mind. And that's what this business is about, is how do you get people to move down a road to their success without them feeling like you're pushing them? That's kind of, to me, that's leadership, is how you're more of a guide. By the end of it, you want people to go, man, I did this. I'm so smart. I made this by myself. And you can sit in the background and go, yeah, you did. But I was behind you there, guiding you all every step of the way. To me, that's a successful leader.
Absolutely. And even when it comes to a call, like we started at 3 minutes past, which means we've got 10 minutes left, and I'm going to make sure we fit everything in, because I always like to make sure if we say it's an hour call, we finish in the hour. So I'm going to get Sandy on. Here we go. Sandy Feast. We have known each other for many years, like way over a decade, and we've done many things together. And yes, Sandy's an absolute honor to be walking on this journey together with you. And wow, what you give to listen, people would kill to have Sandy in the upline structure. A born leader, knows the business inside out, and has built a massive team, and just helping her team on another level. And a lot of people that are on the call are in your team. And I just want to hand over directly to you and talk about the exposure to the upline, what Sean and I have been talking about. Just give us a different perspective.
Thank you, Chris. And I'm delighted we're working together again. And Chris and Sean, I'm learning a whole lot tonight. I learn on every call. So thank you for that. And I must say exactly what Sean was saying. He gives you feedback before the people come on. Marcella and Minky have been fantastic at that, including Jackie Clayton. Jackie, I'm delighted you're on this call. They all first brief me, which is great. A bit of background about the person, the possible challenges and things like that. And Marcella just nod. I just want to ask a question. The lady who was a challenge with being teachable, is she on?
That's poking.
Before I go further. Shake your head or nod.
Oh, she is on. Yes.
Okay.
No, she's not.
And
She's
I'm
saying
also
no.
pleased
No, she's not.
No, she's not on. No,
okay.
no.
Okay.
You're in
I
the
was
clear,
going to say,
Sandy. You're in the clear.
if she is
lay
on,
lay it on.
I'm also pleased. but they do share, and whether it's a business builder, it could be the challenges that they're going through, or new guests. you know, whether they're just interested in the health or the business side or whatever. And I had a fabulous call, the last call with Minky. I won't go into detail right now. If it's a business partner, I actually go into their profile before the call and just have a look at what's happening. How far are they from the next rank? What could be the possible challenges? And obviously, when talking to them about their aspirations, their challenges, and exactly what Marcella said, every single one has been completely and utterly different. And I mean, I learn from every call as well. I really do. And one of the things, there was a lady who appeared to be a bit unteachable. So
You put it
I don't know
mildly.
if she's going to listen to the recording, but if she does, I'm just going to say, please listen to it and please take note. And it was such a pleasure that she was on the call, because I also learned a lot, because she would jabber, 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 jabber. And I'm thinking, I nearly saw, what am I doing here? I can see Chris can read exactly what I was going to say. I thought, oh, why am I here? And I did interrupt Marcella, hopefully in a fairly decent way. And I said to her, are you teachable? I just thought I'm going to bring in Kevin Trudeau, which I brought in fact, with almost all of them. I said, are you teachable? And I think she was like, what? And then I explained that when her upline's on a call or doing a presentation, you don't rush in afterwards, take over and jabber up a storm and chase everyone away. Everyone who's about to sign up, zip the lips. So we spoke through some, are you teachable? Who do you listen to? Marcella absolutely knows what she's doing. Listen, look, and learn. And also about the training balance scale. For me, that is key, because some people, I've got people in my team, there are people worldwide, everyone's team, who just want to learn. In fact, I wish I had a new prospect on this call, but I purposely didn't put her on. But at some point, I'm going to send her the recording. She said to me, I've access, today she said, I've access to 1 million people. That's great. But what she wanted to do, because she works extensively in social media, is just, Sandy, can I just send a recording to everyone? A presentation recording. And I said, most definitely not. That is spamming and you'll get taken out. I said, big difference with what's happening here. This is relationship building. If you're just trying to sell online, you can make some good money. It's going to be extremely short-lived. There is no way you make $50,000 or whatever per week, long-term. And she was quite shocked. I said, lots to learn. Are you teachable? Who do you listen to? She says, just keep sending me information. So I said, we'll be talking a bit more. So yeah, learned a lot, and it's such a pleasure working with the Zen. Zen understands frequencies from the word go. And I spent quite a bit of time with her yesterday and every few days. So yeah, and then picking up with other people, had a lovely session with Yuvalna and people. They had 44 new people there yesterday, Chris.
Wow. My
We
goodness.
forgot to take photos.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Absolutely
now
phenomenal. Wow.
yeah, we want to set up duplication and let's start moving it. So yeah, each one I'm learning, and here as well, and I've learned a lot from Marcella, Minky, and my whole team. So I'm really privileged. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Sandy. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Go and move spotlight. And then we have Mr. George that we haven't seen for a while. There we go. And this is the culprit why we are all here on the call tonight. As everybody knows, George is our upline. Always saying the calls, so grateful that you did his life wave to me and Lucinda, and how it's completely transformed our lives and made such a ripple effect in South Africa. And thank you for everything that you've done to get us all to this point, and the help that you put in, and the three-way calls and the Zoom calls, George. So yeah, very quickly, tell us your feedback on what we've been talking about tonight.
Thank you, Chris. That's very kind words from you. Yeah, you haven't seen me for a while because I've been concentrating a lot with a whole other line. I'm really focused now on building Spain. So whereas I keep an eye and I'm not as present as I was because I'm kind of otherwise occupied. But interesting thing today. So some of you know Diana. Diana's in my first line in Spain, and she said to me, you know what? I'm really enjoying doing these three-way calls with people. She hit 1-star executive, and she's seeing the difference between getting to the point of being a director, 1-star executive, which has got a lot to do with sponsoring people and getting it being right at the beginning, and to suddenly doing this transformation to developing herself as a leader. Now, Minky kind of touched on it, Sandy touched on it, that when we're doing these calls, we are learning while we're doing the calls. The people who've asked us to do the calls are also learning while we're doing those calls, because and so, for example, with the last time I was on one of these calls with you guys, I said there's not enough exposure to the upline. If you remember that, Chris, and I said there needs to be a lot more exposure to the upline in this team, and I'm glad to see that it's happening. He raised his eyes to the heaven. So I'm glad to see that it's happening. So, guys, if you've got children, I don't have grandchildren, but I have a daughter, and even though we have great communications, there are some things that I can't tell her. I try, but it just doesn't work. She even told me, and then she said to me, I haven't told her how this works. She's only heard me on 150,000 calls. I don't know how many. Chris said to me, when the time comes, I will be happy to talk to her for you. So parents can tell their children stuff or can't. Grandparents can talk in a different way. I know it sounds very facile, but it's actually the truth. So with my calls, I don't limit them to a certain amount of time. For me, it's more how I feel it. And what I will do. So oftentimes the person who we're having the third person will get there before the person in between. And what I'm always doing is I'm having a conversation with that person with nothing to do about LiveWave. If it's somebody who lives in Spain, I'll say, where are you living in Spain? Oh, I've been there. Or always it'll be something else, and go around the houses for a few minutes before I'll just go whoop straight in with a question. But it'll be a question that relates to the conversation we've already had. One of the questions that I will do on those calls will be, so what has Chris told you about what we're doing here? So what has Chris told you about what we're doing here? And they'll come back and say what they have understood of what Chris has told them. And I will then be able to address all those things and take from those things and give what we need to give, which in my view is context and patina and inspiration. Yeah. When we can give that, then the people they'll turn around and say, "Yep, I really do want to do this," because when somebody is at the beginning and they've signed up, they're still a prospect, because we don't know what they're going to do or what they're not going to do. And if we can inspire them to go for this, because we have something absolutely powerful here, and that needs to be shared with the whole world. If you don't have that posture behind everything else, it becomes very hard. It's mechanical rather than with passion and logic. So, you know, many of you have heard me say this. 80% of this is the work we do on ourselves. So it's how it works, and what we need to do is important. It's absolutely important. But much more important, in my view, is that the person catch the heart of this story so that they want to transmit it. Anyway, that's that's what I try to get as far away as me from myself as possible. You know, one of the things that Javi said to me in the beginning, you want to get to the point where you have lots of meetings going on in your organization without you being there. And I thought that makes sense. And, you know, 3.5 years later, I could say that there are countless meetings in person and in by Zoom that take place somewhere in my organization. And then something that Chris could say the same, Sandy can say the same. I dare say Sean is getting to the point where he can say the same. But the other thing that I also, it's important, we want to have, at least as time goes by, 100 people in our organization who, if we turn around to them and said, "Stop doing this," they're going to give you the finger, right? They're going to say, "Forget it, it's not going to happen." Now, I have a very, very strong right leg, which includes, I made perhaps a big mistake in the beginning. I put all my English speakers on one leg and I put all my Spanish speakers on the other leg. And it's taken longer for the Spanish to get going. It's a lot of cultural things, so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. But on that right leg with South Africa, I could say, and I'm not going to sit and count everybody, but there are at least 100 people who would never stop, whatever I said to them. And now I'm working to do that on my other leg, because the binary is important and mental matching bonus is just something incredible. Hope that's useful. Chris, anything you would come back at me on that?
Awesome.
No,
George.
you
Thank you.
covered absolutely everything, and thank you, George. Thank you so much.
Something just clicked in me as well. Actually, I've been doing three-way calls, and I'm being like, I feel like a bit mechanical, and exactly what you just said there, George. That's what I can start doing with people in my organization now. So thank you very much for that. That's excellent.
Awesome. Thank you, George.
So
thank you.
Before we go, there's something I said on Chris's Inner Circle group, and I think it bears saying, and this is something I'm going to be talking about quite a lot. We had the new compensation plan, and I've actually said this to Alex and Claudia. I don't think we should call it the new compensation plan anymore. It is the compensation plan. And I do understand that when something new, things get wobbled. And I'm not saying with this team, but I've seen this a fair bit. People have kind of gone, with the new things are not like they were before. Not everybody here was perhaps with us for the last, because we started that when in August last year, I think, or no, it was October in the end. October 27th. So it's really, we have something which is the most, some of you know Dr. Stacy, some of you don't, but in a conversation she was saying she's been in network for 30 years and this is actually the most powerful compensation plan she's ever seen. So guys, let's just take full advantage of it, and let's help David with his vision. We help ourselves and everybody around us, and David with his vision to get the light into 1 billion homes. So that's my, what I wanted to say as well. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you, George. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, something that I wanted to quickly before I hand over to Sean is don't forget, guys, in 2 weeks' time we have Super Saturday in Johannesburg. Super Saturday. Remember the old G1 Hub? We're going to be at that venue. What a beautiful, beautiful venue. Getting everything set up. 25th of April. Guys, we're just busy with the speaker lineup. We're doing things a little bit differently. A little bit less motivation and a little bit more practical tools that people can use straight away. And some people are saying, yeah, but the last time all you spoke about was business. There's nothing about product. We've got a very, very, very talented person who will be doing a session just on the product. So, guys, we're keeping everybody happy, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So, if you haven't booked your tickets, please get your tickets done. I'm probably going to make a video tomorrow. I'll put it out onto the groups. But guys, that's where the magic happens at these events. So before we finish off, I want to hand over to Sean, and if you could just wrap everything up for us this evening.
Awesome, thanks, Chris. I haven't got too much left to say. I think that was incredible, really. I think these sorts of trainings with practical things that you can actually take away are so powerful. So, I hope you guys, everybody. I know I was taking notes, so I hope everybody's taken some notes here, because
Yes.
this is it. This is the secret sauce. These are things that if you don't get told, you don't know. You learn. This is how you learn it, by either making your mistakes many, many, many times until maybe you figure it out, or maybe you don't. What I've seen with most people is they do it their own way, how they think it should be done, and when it doesn't work, instead of going, how could, maybe instead of evaluating themselves, they go, nah, it doesn't work with my people, doesn't work with people in this country, doesn't work with this kind of people. It's never looking at yourself and going, maybe I'm not doing it the right way. Maybe there's something I need to learn. And guys, that's what I would suggest you do all the time. Evaluate yourself, not from an emotional standpoint, but from a practical standpoint. Look at your business every week, every month. Right, what's working? What isn't working? What isn't working? Okay, and not to say, oh, I'm just bad at this. It's not emotional. It's to say, what's not working? Okay, I'm showing presentations, or I'm introducing people, or I'm doing, but I'm not getting traction. Why not? What is going on? What am I doing right? What's working, and why is it working? And then what can I do a little bit differently? I'm seeing it more and more. Guys, this is business. If you want to build a six-figure income, and here's Mark, I'm going to build a six-figure income. I'm going to. Because I'm prepared to spend and learn and do whatever it takes to grow as an individual and grow a business, whatever it takes. So the people on this call who are in my team, if you guys want to come with. If you don't, no worries, I'll find some new ones. So I just had to put that out there. But guys, that's what you want to do. Fall in love with progress. That's what you want to do. Don't fall in love. Fall in love with the process, and fall in love with with progress. If you just get 1% better every day, guys, in 365 days, you'll be 365% better than you are right now. That's all you can do. Just aim to get better every day. And if you do that, yes, it might take time, but that's okay. You're not in a race with anybody else. You're just you're in a race with yourself, and not a race to get to somewhere quickly, but to get to somewhere eventually. It's not about what you can get. It's about who you have to become in order to get what you say you want to get. And that's what progress is, guys. Just get better. Just aim at getting better. One little bit better every day. A little bit better every day. A little bit better every day. That's all you need to do. That's my rant. I gotta go.
Wow.
I gotta get another presentation with America. I'm 15 minutes late, so I gotta get.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean. You are a legend. Thank you. You wrapped that up so beautifully. So, guys, in about a month's time, we're going to be doing the next Thursday, and Sean and I will be on again, and we're going to be talking about how to invite people to a Zoom call. That's going to be the topic of the next training. So, guys, thank you for taking the time out. Enjoy the rest of your week or what's left of it. And we'll see you guys soon. See you guys in Joburg in 2 weeks' time. Good night, everybody.
Awesome.
God bless. Love you
Cheers,
all.
guys.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.